You're joking, aren't you? It's the Teesside chef. So I was getting smashed the other night there, and for some reason I thought I'd like to wake up the next day to a breakfast pizza. But I knew I'd still be blitzed in the morning in my drunken stupor, so I figured why not prepare it all in advance. So I stumbled into the kitchen and threw 500 grams of pizza flour, 1.5 teaspoons of salt and a sachet of dried yeast into a bowl, along with 350 millilitres of cold water, just to see if I could get the dough to hold its horses overnight. And I managed to drop the mixer on my toe before I got this dough going, and it was a real sore one, but I didn't feel it until 2 o'clock the following afternoon. And of course I had to tuck the dough up for the night, and I thought to help it relax I'd read it a nice little bedtime story. And after 14 pints, I still had the wherewithal to leave this dough in the coolest place in my house. And I was so motivated at this point that I even fried some Scottish square sausage off, link in the description, and even some bacon, so I'd have all my ducks lined up in a row the next morning. And perhaps I jumped the shark with the pizza sauce, because I used plum tomatoes, which aren't the best for a pizza sauce. And you want to be cutting these before they go in your sieve, ideally. But either way, you'll never get enough of the water out of plum tomatoes to make a decent pizza sauce. But I pressed on anyway with 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 of sugar before blending. The next morning arrived, and I'd managed to oversleep for about 3 hours, and this dough is not looking happy here at all, after being left for 12 hours. But we're in this thing now, so there's no backing out. And I noticed at this point just how sticky the dough was here, and it was sticking almost as much as my tongue had been sticking to the roof of my mouth when I woke up. But I was relieved that I could still cut this and shape it into 4 pretty equal balls. And even though I had a blinding headache, I still remembered that these 4 balls need to rise again for 40 minutes, and definitely want to be covered in oiled cling film first. And at this point, I was feeling pretty good about the whole thing, I have to say. So in my still drunk, confident state, I cracked on and separated my eggs into a separate bowl, and when I make cloud eggs, I find using an egg cup to store the yolk in is much better than a sharp-edged eggshell, because you can just slide it in there really nicely, and it's almost as if egg cups were made for eggs, isn't it? And each time I was tipping my egg whites into a separate bowl, just in case one of the yolk's arses fell out, just like mine felt like it was going to, and when repeating the process this way, there was no danger of shelling the white, or a bit of yolk ruining all of my egg whites. And I did add half a teaspoon of cream of tartar here, but I'm just showing off really doing that. At which point, I was ready to beat my egg whites to stiff glossy peaks, and my oven was already on max at this point, with an oven tray in there at the bottom of the oven. And for the best results, you really do need a pizza shovel, and I'm spreading a load of coarse grain semolina on here, and I did get a bit transfixed spreading this out as my mind began to wander. But I did manage to pull myself up by my bootstraps and focus on shaping this incredibly soft and sticky dough, and I needed plenty of flour, but to be honest, the dough was so soft at this point that it almost spread itself out into a nice circle for me. And that semolina is acting like a billion little roller skates now as I check that this pizza base is not sticking. And I was really trying to trip myself up here using this watery pizza sauce, but it tastes good, and I'm an optimistic kind of chap, so I think it'll all work out. And breakfast's not breakfast without beans, and I gave these a little wash first so they look the best. And our bacon from the night before is ready to put on here, at least the bacon that survived my midnight munchies feast. And after I'd had that epic bacon and sausage sandwich that I can't remember having, I did have some sausage left for this. And of course, I added mozzarella, because it's a pizza, isn't it? And of course, it's the cloud eggs that are the superstar on this breakfast pizza. And even though I was going to be eating all of this, I put a cloud egg in each corner to at least give the impression that I'd be sharing it, and I wasn't such a greedy pig after all. And I needed to make a well in the egg whites for our egg yolks to sit in nice and comfortably. And I did chill my eggs overnight to help these egg yolks maintain their structural integrity. And because I'm a forward thinker, I anticipated that these egg yolks would be buffeted a bit in the pizza making process, so I had to build a little wall around them to protect them, before adding some parmesan on top of each one. And I had to shake it again to make sure there was no stickage, and then I got this pizza straight on my boiling hot baking sheet in the oven before turning the oven down to 200 degrees, and after 8 minutes, this is what I had: fully loaded breakfast pizza with succulent cloud eggs, and I made sure to break those yolks open straight away so they wouldn't go hard, and I was ready to live the dream. And I would have loved to have shown you a full pizza here, but I got the shakes, and I had to eat a piece before I fainted. Best hangover cure ever. Pity it couldn't stop the pain in my toe, like. Maybe I'll put paracetamol on it next time, eh? Ta-ra.